Hey guys, I'm Cait and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm a singer-songwriter who also works as a videographer and a visual content creator. So I recently started this channel just to talk about creativity and my process when it comes to making music and making all the visual content that goes with it. Last year, I released a song called Skin that I directed and edited my own music video for, and I got a lot of questions about this whole process and, people wanting to know any tips that I might have for somebody who wants to do the same thing for their own music. So in this video, I'm basically just gonna walk you through my thought process of concepting, preparing for, and actually shooting and directing my own music video for Skin. Side note, I am putting the link to that music video in the description below, so if you haven't seen it yet, this whole video might make a little bit more sense if you've actually seen it, so be sure to check that out. Also, before we dive in, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button, as it really does help me with the YouTube algorithm. And I'm also gonna be doing this video series called Coffee with Cait, where I just sit and answer questions. So if any questions come up during this video, be sure to leave those in the comments below. I read all of them and I'll save them for when I'm filming my next Coffee with Cait video. So yeah, just leave your questions in the comments and here we go. So when we were writing this song, the initial idea came from this experience that I had. It was actually my very first meeting with a music publisher ever. And I just remember sitting in this office and playing this guy song after song after song over the speakers. And every single song I played for him, he didn't have anything good to say about any of them. He actually criticized all of them. And I just remember walking out of that office and into my car, sat in the parking lot and just cried. Like, I was just completely mortified. And this was my first experience in a meeting like this. Obviously, not every meeting is gonna go well, and I know that now, but in hindsight, at the time, I was just destroyed. I just totally lost a whole lot of confidence after that. I really just had this feeling of not being good enough. And so when I was in a writing session years later with my friends Brian and Devin and telling them about this story, and then we just kind of started going back and forth about different times in our lives when we had felt that kind of anxiety or that kind of, not good enough feeling. It's basically a song about what that kind of self-doubt and anxiety feels like. So when it came to dream up a concept for the music video, I knew that I wanted to reflect that. I knew I wanted to reflect that in a somewhat simple but super artful way. And so I just went looking for inspiration. So I guess that brings me to my first tip, which is to start with a strong concept, which might mean to do some research, find references, and make a mood board. So like I said, I knew I wanted something artful and interesting, but I was also on a budget. I was funding this all myself, so I couldn't have anything that required like any huge crew or special effects. It had to be something that I could do myself. So I was asking around to some friends and telling them my idea of, creating this visual representation of what anxiety feels like. And a friend of mine sent me this photo. I actually don't know who the photographer is. So if you know the photographer of this photo, please let me know in the comments so I can actually credit them. But I saw this image and I loved it because I felt like it was that simple but artful visual representation of what anxiety feels like, right? It's like surrounding you, and I loved these creepy paint hands is what I started to call them, just surrounding this girl. And to me, they kind of represented that invisible pressure or anxiety or, that looming feeling that can just follow you. So from this one image, I made a mood board for the video, and your mood board is basically just a vibe that you want. It's a visual representation of the color tones, the feel. It's really a tool for you to refer back to whenever you're making decisions about what the set's gonna look like, where the location is, what clothing you're gonna wear, if you're gonna need other people to be in it with you, and all of that. So a mood board really comes in handy when you're starting the process of planning your own music video. Once you have that all put together, then it's time to take this cluster of images that you've created and make an actual plan for your music video. And that means to create a shot list and a schedule. Now, this is arguably the most important thing that you can do when preparing for your music video. It'll make your life so much easier when it comes to shooting. It takes time, it really does. It takes a lot of time and planning, but you will save yourself so many headaches and so much less stress if you do this step. So when you're making a shot list, it's important to listen to the song a lot. I mean, a lot. I went through the song line by line, section by section, always asking myself questions like, is there anything I want to highlight in the lyrics? Or, what are the transitions gonna be? What's the story arc gonna be? And where in the song is it gonna be? You want to match the visuals to the music as best as you can. So if there is a big part in the song or a big crescendo or a big release or a big drop or something, you want to make sure that something exciting happens at that point in the song, right? It only makes sense. So going through the song, literally combing through every line and planning out what is going to happen at each part of the song. In terms of skin, I knew that I wanted the set to be like a lot of neutral tones, just as a nod to the name of the song, right? So there were a lot of browns and nudes and skin tones. I basically gave myself a small budget to go to Target and just like fill my cart with things that I knew that I could build this set with. And I knew that I needed paint, right? Because that was a huge part of my mood board, and the whole concept for the video was that these creepy paint hands would be kind of attacking me throughout. But I really didn't like the idea of black paint. It just seemed too dark and scary and like almost like Halloween to me. And my brand and like the colors that I'm really drawn to are much more light and airy. So I decided on white paint, but I also didn't really want to use real paint because real paint has a bunch of chemicals in it and it's meant to go on walls and not on humans, and I knew it would just like get super dry and crusty on me, and that's not the vibe that I wanted either. Also, I did not want real paint in my hair. I take really good care of my hair because I bleach it so often to get this platinum color, and I was not about to put all that nasty paint stuff in my hair and like ruin it and watch it just like break off on set. So I asked a friend of mine who is a really experienced makeup artist, and I was like, is there any product that you know of that looks like paint but isn't? So she told me about this product that is liquid makeup. It looks like paint, but it washes out super easily just with water and soap or water and shampoo. So that was a total lifesaver for me. Very grateful to her. So with all this planned and set up, I knew that there were a few lines in the song that I for sure wanted to highlight or nod to. And the first was this.
Don't wanna get out of bed, too tired. Don't wanna put on any clothes. Keep trying on different shades of anxiety. Nothing feels right on my bones.
So I literally start the song with words about not wanting to get out of bed in the morning, right? So I knew that I wanted the scene of the music video to be in a bedroom. No shocker there, but I also thought it would be cool if for the entire music video, I never got out of bed. So you'll notice that I'm either sitting or laying down on the mattress the entire music video, but that also became a challenge because how do you make a music video cool if you stay in one spot the entire time? So this is where those creepy paint hands come in. I specifically wanted them to come in on the pre-chorus when I sing this.
Am I good enough for you? Am I good enough for you? What the hell do I have to do to be good enough?
That part of the song is really the internal dialogue, asking myself, am I good enough for you? Am I good enough for you? So I wanted each hand to come in as I had each of those thoughts. So in order for me to get all these moments, and since we're working with paint, Creating a shot list and a schedule for those shots is super, super critical, because once we started covering me in paint, there was no going back. There's no reshooting that. Almost all of these shots were one take because they had to be. We just had to very carefully set up each shot. We would practice each shot without paint first, and then once we felt like we had the angles already, we just kind of had to go for it. And when I say we, it's because I definitely had to put together a little team of friends to help me with this, because there's no way I could have pulled this off by myself, right? So that brings me to another tip, which is to collaborate and do not be afraid to ask for help. So because I did all the pre-planning and the shot listing and scheduling, I knew I was gonna need people there to help me. So I got my friend Maxwell to come be the camera operator. He is somebody I've worked with just by being a videographer many times. So he knew what I liked, he knew my style, and he's somebody who I can kind of direct really easily and collaborate with. I had my friend Kenzie there, who is a super amazing stylist, and she's also super organized. So she was the shot list keeper. She was checking off each shot as we went and keeping me totally organized, which I am so grateful for, because on shooting days like this, my brain is in like a million different places. So very, very grateful to have a shot list keeper like her. I also had my friend Joey there capturing behind the scenes content for me, because I knew I was gonna be way too crazy and busy and flustered to be holding up a camera and doing any type of behind the scenes content myself. So having somebody there to do that is super, super helpful. And then you have a whole bunch of cool content to go through after the fact. And I had 3 of my girlfriends come and be my creepy paint hands for me, and it was actually really hilarious, because we had to shoot a lot of this in slow motion to get that effect of, me mouthing the words in slow motion. So in order to do that, you have to shoot it twice as fast. So I had the track playing in the room twice as fast so that I could mouth the words to the camera twice as fast, which meant that they had to pull and tug on me twice as fast. And so I'll show you a clip really quickly here, because it's really funny to just see myself being like, I wanna get out of bed tonight, and they're just like pulling at my hair and like yanking me around. And after every clip, I think we just died laughing, because it was so funny for them to just be like pulling at me at this rapid speed. You in the eye? No. I was just like, oh. And I also want to say that even though these people who were there helping me are my friends, I did pay them for being there. That was a huge part of the prepping process, is seeing, okay, who am I gonna need? How much am I gonna have to budget for people? Because if there's one thing that you should invest in, it's people. Because like I said before, there was no way I could have done this on my own. And I think I'll do a video in the future about saving and budgeting your money for things like this, because I think it's a huge part of being able to do this on your own and being able to kind of curate your own visual content, but you also have to be the one who's funding it sometimes. And I totally get that. If that's a constraint for you, get creative with it. There are so many ways that you can create cool things on a budget. Like for instance, the studio that we were in was a friend's studio that they let us borrow for the day because no one was using it that day, which is amazing. And I know that's not something everybody has access to, but you might know somebody with a cool living room or a cool backyard who will let you shoot there for the day, And something I've done a lot in the past when I've been on a super, super tight budget is I'll trade with other creatives. If you're a creative, you have something to offer. So if somebody helps me film a video, I'll help them do something creative for their business or their brand too. And you can create something super cool even if you have $0. I just encourage you to look for things that you can do with what you have, and it doesn't have to be anything huge or spectacular. You can really make super artful and meaningful things with no money. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked seeing a little bit of my thought process in the creation of one of my music videos. I know I want to do this a lot in the future. I've got some music coming out later this year that I'm sure I'm going to be doing my own music videos for again, so I'll be sure to keep you in the loop on those. I'd also love to hear about any of your DIY projects or videos. Be sure to leave them in the comments below because I love to kind of see what you guys are doing as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram as I post there almost every day. Also, I've got links in the description below to all the gear I use, where to stream my music, and how to join the Facebook group for Club Cait, so be sure to click that and join us. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.